Have you ever woken up to a sharp, nagging ache in your knees, the kind that turns even the simplest step into a wincing ordeal? Picture this. You're reaching for your morning coffee, but the journey from bed to kitchen feels like a trek across a rocky canyon. If that sounds familiar, you're far from alone. As the years pile on, knee pain sneaks into our lives like an uninvited guest, dimming the joy of movement and casting a shadow over our days. But what if it told you that relief might be closer than you think, not locked away in a pill bottle or a surgeon's office, but in the quiet power of a few simple habits? Today, we're pulling back the curtain on 5 doctor-recommended practices that have transformed the lives of countless older adults, helping them reclaim comfort and stride confidently into their days. These aren't flashy fixes or grueling overhauls, just practical, everyday steps that, with a little consistency, can melt away stiffness, rebuild strength, and even shield your joints from further wear. Stick with me to the end, because by the time we're done, you'll see how these habits can not only soothe your knees, but also hand you back the reins to your health and freedom, no matter how long that ache has lingered. Number 1, gentle daily stretching. Imagine your knees as rusty hinges on an old gate, creaking with every swing. Now imagine coaxing them open with a slow, tender touch, not forcing, not straining, but gently nudging them toward freedom. That's the magic of daily stretching, a habit so simple yet so often overlooked that doctors call it a cornerstone of knee health. When done right, stretching unwinds the tight muscles that clutch your joints, boosts flexibility, and dissolves the stiffness that makes every step a negotiation. If your mornings greet you with knees that feel like they're carved from stone, or if sitting too long leaves you hobbling like a marionette with tangled strings, your body's begging for this gentle release. The beauty lies in its ease. You don't need to twist yourself into a pretzel or chase Olympic-level flexibility. Instead, focus on the muscles that cradle your knees, the quadriceps, those thick cables along the front of your thighs, the hamstrings, taut and sinewy at the back, and the calves, sturdy pillars below. Tightness in these muscles tugs at the knee joint like a puppeteer pulling strings, amplifying discomfort with every move. A seated hamstring stretch, legs extended, toes reaching for the sky, or a gentle quad stretch, one hand steadying you against a chair, can work wonders. Just 5 minutes each morning, before your feet even hit the floor, can shift the day from a groan to a glide. Take Richard, a 72-year-old retired carpenter with hands calloused from decades of labor and knees that groaned louder than the floorboards he once laid. For years, he'd wake to joints so stiff he'd shuffle to the bathroom like a man twice his age, each step a silent curse against time. His doctor, a wiry woman with a no-nonsense air, handed him a lifeline, a stretching routine so simple it felt almost too good to be true. Still in bed, he'd bend and extend each leg, slow as a sunrise, feeling the tightness ebb away. Weeks later, Richard stood taller, his mornings no longer a battlefield. It's like someone oiled the hinges, he'd laugh, marveling at how those first steps now felt light instead of labored. But here's the catch: stretching isn't a race. Rush it, bounce into it, and you'll only tighten the knots. Instead, ease in, holding each stretch for 20 to 30 seconds, breathing deep as your muscles soften like butter on a warm skillet. No equipment, no cost. Just you, a quiet moment, and a body grateful for the care. Whether it's a sunrise ritual, a post-walk wind down, or a pre-bed sigh of relief, this habit can rewrite how you move, turning stiffness into a distant memory and inviting ease back into your days. Number 2, strengthening exercises. Stretching loosens the grip, but strength builds the fortress. Weak muscles around your knees are like shaky scaffolding around a tower. Without support, the whole structure trembles under pressure. Doctors know this, which is why they champion strengthening exercises to shore up the quadriceps, hamstrings, and glutes, the unsung heroes that cradle your joints. When these muscles falter, your knees bear the brunt, grinding under stress that sparks pain and inflammation. But bolster them and you'll feel the difference. Less strain, more stability, and a stride that feels steady instead of strained. You don't need a gym membership or a rack of weights. Start with a seated leg raise. Perched on a sturdy chair, extend one leg straight out, hold it as if saluting the horizon, then lower it with the grace of a dancer. It's a whisper of a move, but it wakes the quadriceps without jarring the joint. Or try heel and toe raises, standing tall and lifting onto your tiptoes, then rocking back. A small dance that fortifies your calves and steadies your knees. If the floor is your friend, lie back for bridges, lifting your hips to the sky, engaging your glutes like a secret weapon against knee stress. Simple, yes, but mighty when woven into your days. Consider Barbara, a 68-year-old widow whose knees had whispered complaints for years, a dull ache she chalked up to the inevitable march of age. A former school teacher, she missed the days of chasing grandkids across the yard, now wincing as she climbed the stairs to her porch. Her doctor, a kindly man with a silver beard, saw past the resignation in her eyes and prescribed a 5-minute ritual. Seated leg raises and wall-supported squats. At first she doubted, could something so basic really help? But weeks in, the stairs felt less like Everest, and standing at the sink no longer drained her. I feel like I've got my legs back, she'd say, her voice bright with a rediscovered spark. Consistency is the key. No need for Herculean feats, just daily nudges to wake those muscles, building a quiet resilience that eases the load on your knees. Low-impact, body-weight moves like these prove that strength isn't loud or flashy. It's the steady hum of a body reclaiming its power step by step. Number 3, anti-inflammatory diet. What if the secret to quieter knees wasn't just in how you move, but in what you savor at the table? Chronic inflammation, that silent fire smoldering in your joints, often fans the flames of knee pain, and your fork can either stoke it or douse it. Doctors swear by this truth. The foods you choose can be a balm, cooling the heat that makes your knees ache. An anti-inflammatory diet isn't about deprivation. It's about inviting in flavors that heal, rich, vibrant, and alive with possibility. Load your plate with omega-3 fatty acids, those golden threads of relief found in salmon, its flesh glistening like sunset over water, or in walnuts, crunchy and earthy, or flax seeds sprinkled like confetti over oatmeal. These powerhouses dial down swelling, soothing joints that creak in protest. Then there's the rainbow of antioxidants, berries bursting with tart sweetness, spinach leaves unfurling like green flags of resilience, and turmeric, a golden dust that paints your meals with promise. These warriors shield your cartilage, slowing the wear that time tries to etch into your knees. George, a 75-year-old widower with a penchant for tinkering in his garage, knows this shift firsthand. For a decade, his knees groaned louder than his old radio, dulled only by handfuls of painkillers that left him foggy. His doctor, a sharp-eyed woman with a clipboard full of hope, nudged him toward change. More greens, more fish, less of the processed junk he'd leaned on since his wife passed. At first he grumbled, salmon over frozen pizza, but soon his mornings softened. The stiffness faded and the pills gathered dust. I'm not just feeding myself, he'd muse, cracking a walnut shell. I'm fixing myself. Beware the Yanjung culprits. Sugary sodas that fizz with trouble, fried snacks that crackle with regret, refined carbs that crumble into chaos. Swap them for whole grains that chew like a promise, or olive oil that pours like liquid gold. And don't forget water, pure, clear, and vital, lubricating your joints like oil in an engine. Small shifts ripple outward, a handful of berries instead of chips, a glass of water over cola. Over time, your knees sigh in relief, and your whole body hums with gratitude. Number 4, proper footwear and support. Picture this. Every step you take sends a ripple up your legs, a tiny drumbeat of impact that either dances lightly or crashes hard against your knees. Now imagine that the shoes cradling your feet could rewrite that rhythm, turning a jarring thud into a gentle tap. It's a truth too many overlook. Your footwear isn't just fashion. It's a silent partner in your knee's story. Doctors wave this flag high. The wrong shoes pile stress on your joints like bricks on a weary back, while the right ones lift the load, cushioning your stride and whispering relief with every step. The culprits are sneaky. Those threadbare sneakers you've worn to tatters, their soles flat as a forgotten promise, Or flip-flops that slap the ground with no embrace, they're saboteurs. Over time, the cushioning fades and your feet bear the brunt, sending shockwaves to knees already pleading for mercy. The fix? Shoes with a firm heel to cradle your stance, arch support that hugs your curves, and padding that softens the blow. Think orthopedic wonders and sneakers plush as a cloud. Nothing flashy, just faithful. For extra grace, custom orthotics slip in like a tailor-made sigh, redistributing pressure and aligning your step to spare your joints. Meet Mary, a 74-year-old gardener whose knees once sang a dirge with every rose she pruned. She tried it all, stretches, squats, even turmeric tea, but the ache lingered like a stubborn weed. Her doctor, a soft-spoken man with a knack for listening, zeroed in on her feet. "Your shoes," he said, eyeing the worn flats she had sworn by for years. A fitting later, she stepped into cushioned sneakers, orthotics hugging her arches like old friends. The first walk to her garden felt like a revelation. Less pain, more spring. "I didn't know my feet were betraying me," she'd laugh, marveling at how standing amid her blooms no longer drained her. It's not just about the big outings. Around the house, ditch the bare feet on tile or flimsy slippers for cushioned indoor shoes that pamper your joints. High heels, flat sandals, they're sirens luring you to misalignment, beautiful but brutal. And if concrete's your daily path, seek softer ground, grass or a rubber track to ease the toll. These tweaks aren't grand, but they're guardians of your knees, preserving comfort and warding off wear. Next time your knees grumble after a long day, peek at your shoes. A small swap might just rewrite your stride. Number 5, consistent, low-impact movement. Here's a paradox to chew on. When your knees ache, the last thing you want is to move, yet staying still is their quiet enemy. Rest feels like a balm, but doctors warn it's a trap. Too much stillness starves your joints of life. They need motion to stay oiled, muscles to stay awake, blood to flow, and douse inflammation's embers. That's where low-impact movement swoops in. Not a sprint, not a leap, but a steady hum of activity that keeps your knees alive without breaking them down. Think swimming, where water cradles you like a mother's arms, lifting your weight and letting your knees glide free. Or cycling, the pedals spinning smooth as a lullaby, indoors or under open sky, no jolts, just flow. Walking, too, on even ground with shoes that love you back, turns a chore into a gift. These aren't workouts to dread, they're invitations to move without fear. Water aerobics, with its buoyant bounce, or Tai Chi, slow as a river's bend, weave strength and balance into your days. Even yoga, gentle as a whisper, stretches and steadies you, a quiet rebellion against pain. Frank, a 70-year-old mechanic with grease-stained hands and a heart full of grit, learned this the hard way. Knee pain had sidelined him, turning his garage tinkering into a spectator sport. Jogging? Out of the question. His knees screamed for days. A physical therapist, wiry and wise, nudged him toward a pool and a bike. At first he balked. Swimming felt like surrender, but soon the water's embrace and the bike's rhythm rewove his strength. Months later, he was back under a hood, knees steady, confidence reborn. "I thought moving would ruin me," he'd say, wiping sweat with a grin. "But it saved me." Don't overthink it. Stand up hourly, stretch like a cat, or stroll to the mailbox. Small sparks keep stiffness at bay. Posture matters too. Shoulders back, core tight, weight even, so your knees don't shoulder the strain. You don't need to be a marathoner, just consistent, gentle, present. A 10-minute walk after breakfast, a swim under afternoon sun, these threads stitch a tapestry of ease. Over time, your knees will thank you, not with words, but with the freedom to move as you please. Final thoughts. Knee pain can feel like a thief in the night, stealing the spring from your step and the joy from your days. But here's the secret it doesn't want you to know. You hold the key to lock it out. These 5 habits, stretching's tender touch, strength's quiet build, food's healing bite, shoes' steady embrace, and movement's gentle pulse, aren't miracles. They're choices, small and steady, that stack into something mighty. No scalpels, no fortunes spent, just you, a little time, and a promise to your body. Think of Richard, rising without a wince, or Barbara, chasing grandkids again. George, cracking walnuts with a smirk, Mary tending roses with ease, Frank bending over an engine. You're all ordinary souls who found extraordinary relief. You could be next. Picture it. Mornings where your knees greet you with a nod instead of a groan, stairs that feel like a stroll, days where movement is a friend, not a foe. Which habit calls to you? A stretch at dawn? A salmon supper? A new pair of shoes? Start there, small as a seed, and watch it grow. You're not alone in this ache. Countless others have walked this path and found their way back to comfort. These steps have lit their way, and they can light yours too. It's never too late to rewrite your story, to trade pain for possibility. So take that first stretch, that first bite, that first step. Your knees, your life, they're waiting. What did you glean today? Drop it in a comment below. Your voice fuels this journey. If this stirred you, like it, share it, subscribe, and ring that bell. Together, we'll keep moving forward, one pain-free day at a time. See you next time.